Merry Christmas and let's talk some Kentucky Derby. Trust the profits. It is the formula here, and we are going to be talking Kentucky Derby right before Christmas. Yeah, this is your seventh episode of Kentucky Derby Talk with me. Congratulations, you got me. And I'm at the bar, and I'm almost done here. So that means we got to finish up this recording, doesn't that sound right? Yeah. All right, 134 days till the Kentucky Derby. I'm going to be going through some Derby power rankings. Going to be talking through win stock and Coach Prime. Um, the race that we saw, Los Alamitos Futurity. Upcoming races, the Gunrunner Stakes. I'm going to be going through a couple other races as well that are going to be on that same card for Fairgrounds. They've got a few 55K maiden special weights with a couple interesting horses in there. Not horses that I think that are going to have major consequences for the Kentucky Derby itself, but I think some horses that might end up on the Derby trail, horses that you're probably going to be hearing about for the next few months or so. Let's go ahead and get started. But before we do, horse racing steampunk. Thank you, AI. I mean, what a wonderful image this is. Soak that in for a little bit. I'll give you 3 seconds. Okay, let's move on to the power rankings. What am I doing with the power rankings? Well, I'm getting a little bit excited. The Gunrunner Stakes has me excited about this. Okay, I am. I'm playing around with it. I get restless when it comes to these power rankings. You know me. Fierceness, yes, you're going to remain on top because you won the BC Juvenile. Plain and simple. I mean, that's what we have to say about fierceness for the time being. Will I disrupt the top at some point? Absolutely. I'm going to say to you right now, if Nash wins the Gunrunner Stakes in an extremely impressive fashion, and I know the Gunrunner Stakes on the level of prep races, we're talking December here, is not that high of a race. It's a G2, okay? But if he wins impressively, I'm going to push him up to the top. I'm just getting excited about Nash. All right. And I know there's some recency bias here in terms of, hey, this horse is going to be running soon. Let's get a little bit more excited about him. Let's get ahead of it. Yes, I know. But I still think there's reason to believe that there's something good to be coming from Nash. That when he broke his maiden, winner by 10 lengths, came like 2 seconds off of the track record. I do get a little excited. Cox, Giroux. All right, I've said my piece there. I moved up Nisos as well. I moved down Locked. I liked Locked still. I wanted to break up that Pletcher 1 and 2 combo there, and I did think that Nash and Nisos. I think it's time they move up a tad. Muth, I still have in there. Knightsbridge, Wine Stewart. None of this has really changed down below, but I did shake up the top a little bit, moving things around. Anyway, moving on. Okay, yes, Los Alamitos. Let's watch the stretch run.
It's Winstock tackled by Wind Me Up. Coach Prime the outside and Strongholders getting up along the rail. He'll have a say in the outcome. 3/16 to go. And Winstock joined on the inside by Stronghold. They're clear of Wind Me Up and Coach Prime. It's Winstock and Stronghold racing tightly. They bumped near the 16th. Coach Prime's coming after them late on the scene. Winstock's just the leader from Stronghold and Coach Prime, and Winstock has beaten Stronghold and Coach Prime, followed fourth by Wind Me Up.
Hell of a race by Winstock. Stronghold looked really good there too, and Coach Prime with a great close. Obviously, everyone expected Coach Prime to be the winner here. 0.8 to 1 odds on Coach Prime, 13 on Winstock. Let me just say one thing out of the get go here. Wind Me Up. He finished fairly close in fourth place, right? I mean, if we do the math here, how many lengths back was he? Well, I was never a fan of Wind Me Up. Winstock, I always thought was the second Baffert in this race. A lot of people talking about Wind Me Up. Show me a race of consequence that he's actually looked really good in. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it yet from Wind Me Up. Winstock, what I liked about him, he broke his maiden. The races before that, there was trouble. There were things that got in his way. In this race, he got out to lead early on. Nothing got in his way. He was able to fight. Stronghold gave him all that he could. Stronghold went in front a couple times there. Yeah, you can even see it from the stretch run there. The Stronghold did overtake him at one point. Winstock just fought back. Very impressive run for him. On the whole, if we're going to be comparing it to California Chrome in 2016, We're talking about a 4 second difference there, so not extremely impressive. Coach Prime, a little bit more disappointed in. I never thought that he was the top Baffert. You saw my top 10 list. I've got a couple Bafferts in there already. Coach Prime is not one of them, but I did think that he was the best Baffert in this race. Winstock, however, overcoming the issues that he had before in this race, I thought was pretty impressive. Wind me up, more or less who we thought he was. And yeah, if Moonlit Sonata, if we knew ahead of time that he would have scratched, easy for me to say now. I know, easy for me to say now. I would have put Winstock as my third horse in this race, but as it was, he was my fourth when this was a 6 horse field. What else we got here? Lat Long. Talked about him in the Gunrunner a tad. Finally broke his maiden here, beating Common Defense by 2 1/4 lengths. This is a race that I covered before. I really thought that Give Me a Reason was going to be the winner here. Didn't fare so well for me. Picking a lot of Justify horses lately. Give Me a Reason did not hit the board here. I think, yeah, Gino's Myth I also had as well. Masamak, Merrimack, Naga, not going to work here anymore. Anyway, Let Long, not exactly a horse of consequence in my opinion. Obviously, he had less than 1-to-1 odds in this one. Did what the public thought he would. Not super impressed by him. 140 for the track record there, and he had a 146.79. Moving on. Okay, the Gunrunner Stakes. This is going to be the second Gunrunner Stakes. As I said before, it is not a major race of consequence. We've had two of them so far, but one of them produced Epicenter, the first one. So let that sink in for a moment here. Jace's Road was last year's winner, winning maybe just like a second less than what Epicenter had the previous year. But that being said, this is a race that we got a number of good horses in. Let's take a look at that race. Yeah, and I do a full field rundown on this as you're going to see the videos popping out. I do have the horses ranked here: Nash, Sneed, and Risk It. Nash, as you saw from my rankings, I think he's going to come out with a pretty impressive win here. If he does, I might push him to the top. Fingers crossed. I'm rooting for Nash. Sneed, I think Sneed already won at the fairgrounds at this distance. So I do kind of like Sneed here, especially as an underneath play and Risk It. Steve Asmussen throwing Rosario on the mount here, giving it all he's got with Risk It. Risk It has looked fairly good in some races, not a world beater or anything like that, but good enough to finish underneath. So those are my top three. Again, full field rundown, and I go through all 8 horses. Sticking to the same day, race 5. I think I may have a title issue in my next slide here already. Oops. Um, yeah, we've got this race coming up here with 9 horses. Just a Freak from Justify, second place last time out to Nash, 10 lengths behind in that one. Obviously, losing to Nash by 10 lengths in a race where Nash looked like a world beater. Just a Freak, I think, is ready to come out and win a race. Dematic, troubled race last time out. You could be getting some value here for the Asmussen horse. A Gunrunner horse, nonetheless. Got forced wide, didn't break well before that. I think he could rebound here. I think people are going to look at that last race, maybe overlook the trouble he ran into here, and really show you the type of horse he was. Uh, the favorite here, Mosaico Man and Uncle Mo. He did really come in first place this last time out, but he got DQ'd. So Brad Cox probably going to have that horse ready to rock and roll. Wouldn't be surprised if he is the post time favorite. And oh, maybe I do have that corrected here. Yeah, this should be race 2, not race 6. That's the one thing I have to correct here. Let's talk about El Magnifico from Street Sense. Second place 3 times in 4 races. This horse is ready to win. El Magnifico, 5-2 odds on that horse. But I think there might be some value here. Let's look at that number 2 horse, Ethan Energy. Don't know if he's going to end up on 5-1, 6-1. Started 11th in his first time out, last race, 11th. Improved up to 6 in that one. This horse is going to rise. Yeah, I think if he gets a good start here, if he finds the position he really needs to, it's got a smaller field here with 8 horses. I think we're going to see some good things from Ethan Energy, Brad Cox. As you know, I'm a Brad Cox slappy if you hadn't seen it by now. And finally, Phantom Gate from Arrogate. Closed last time out from 8th place to lose by a nose, getting second place in that race. 7-2 morning line odds. on Phantom Gate. I think there could be some value had there as well. I think that's a really solid horse here. El Magnifico, Ethan Energy, and Phantom Gate. And now we're just closing on some steampunk racing. Don't know what's going on there. It looks like a lot of fun, doesn't it? Okay, let's remove that. Derby talk. We're pretty much closing out the year for Derby Talk, looking ahead to the next year. Some interesting things are happening here. I don't think any horse that's coming out of those last two races is going to be a major Derby contender, but you never know. Crazy things happen. But those could possibly be horses that we end up seeing in Derby preps. We'll have fun talking about them then for full field rundowns, future Derby prep talks. Anyway, that is me. I am out. Hit me up in the comments. Be sure to like our page. Bye bye.